Albert, what are you doing right now?
I'm writing an email in English for the episode.
Show me.
I'd rather not.
Albert.
Fine. I typed what I wanted to say into an AI tool. It rewrote it in better English, and I was copying it.
So you did not write an email in English. You had an AI write an email in English, and you were going to present it as yours.
When you say it like that, it sounds worse than it is.
How does it sound when you say it?
Like, I used a tool, the way you use a spell checker or a dictionary. I had an idea, the AI helped me express it more naturally. Is that so different?
That is the question. That is exactly the question. And the answer, which we are going to take 3 full episodes to unpack, is not as simple as yes or no.
Because there is a version of using AI that genuinely helps language development, and there is a version that quietly replaces it.
And most learners, right now in 2026, with AI tools more powerful and more available than they have ever been, are doing the second version while believing they are doing the first.
Without realizing the difference, without realizing what they are losing.
And part 1 of this series is about understanding what that difference actually is, not whether AI is good or bad. That is the wrong question. The right question is, what is AI doing to your English development? And is it doing what you think it is doing?
I'm Albert.
I'm Mary, LeapTalk English, B2 level, real conversation. This is part 1 of a 3-part series on AI dependence in English learning, what it is, why it is so easy to fall into, and what it is costing learners who do not realize it is happening. Word tour at the end, 8 words. Stay. Quick comment question. Honestly, how often do you use AI to help with your English? Every day? Sometimes? Never? 1 sentence. Tell us in the comments.
Let's start at the beginning.
Albert, before we go anywhere, I want to do the demonstration that I think makes the whole problem visible faster than any explanation.
Go ahead.
I'm going to give you a situation. You have to write a short message, 4 or 5 sentences, in English, to a colleague. You need to tell them that the meeting is moving to Thursday and ask if they can confirm. Write it now. No AI, no checking, just you.
Okay. Hi, just a quick note to let you know the meeting has moved to Thursday. Same time, different day. Could you let me know if that works for you? Thanks.
30 seconds. Natural, clear, completely adequate for the purpose.
Not perfect, but it works.
Now, same situation, but this time you type your rough version into an AI tool and it gives you back. I hope this message finds you well. I am writing to inform you of a change to our upcoming meeting schedule. The meeting previously scheduled has been rescheduled to Thursday at the same time. Could you kindly confirm your availability at your earliest convenience? Thank you for your understanding.
Which sounds more professional on the surface.
On the surface. And now the question. Which version helped your English develop?
Mine. Obviously mine. Because I produced mine. I had to find the words. I had to construct the sentence. Even imperfectly, I did the work.
The AI version required you to have a thought, type a rough version, press a button, and copy. At no point did your English get used in any meaningful way.
And if I do that, not once, but every time I need to write something in English, what happens to my writing ability over 6 months?
It stays exactly where it was, or it regresses, because the cognitive muscle that builds writing ability, the struggle of finding words, constructing sentences, making choices about how to express something, that muscle was never used. The AI used it for you, and muscles that are not used do not develop.
So the output looks better, and the ability behind it gets weaker.
Better output, weaker development. That is the AI dependence trap in 1 sentence.
Okay, but I want to push back because I think there is a version of using AI that is genuinely useful, and I do not want us to be unfair to the tool.
Good. Push back.
If I write my version first, genuinely try, put my real English on the page, and then use AI to show me a more natural version, and then I compare the two, I notice what changed, I understand why the AI version is different. Is that not useful?
That version, yes, genuinely useful. Because in that version, you did the work first. Your English was used. And then you used the AI output as feedback, as a comparison point, as a model to learn from.
The sequence matters.
The sequence is everything. Write first, AI second, compare and learn third. That sequence produces development. Versus AI first, copy, done. That sequence produces output with no development behind it.
So the problem is not AI. The problem is the sequence and most learners use it.
Most learners go AI first, because AI first is faster, AI first is less painful, AI first removes the struggle, and the struggle is uncomfortable, so the brain finds a way to avoid it, and AI has made avoiding it very easy.
But the struggle is the learning.
The struggle is the learning. This is one of the most important things to understand about language acquisition. The effort of searching for a word, and finding it or not finding it, is what makes the word more retrievable next time. The effort of constructing a sentence, and getting it right or getting it slightly wrong, is what builds the grammatical intuition that makes the next sentence easier.
When AI removes the struggle, it removes the learning mechanism.
Not the output. The output is there. The product looks fine. But the process that builds ability, the effortful processing, was bypassed. And bypassed processes do not develop.
Okay, but I want to push back because I think there is a version of using AI that is genuinely useful, and I do not want us to be unfair to the tool.
Good. Push back.
If I write my version first, genuinely try, put my real English on the page, and then use AI to show me a more natural version, and then I compare the two, I notice what changed, I understand why the AI version is different. Is that not useful?
That version, yes, genuinely useful. Because in that version, you did the work first. Your English was used. And then you used the AI output as feedback, as a comparison point, as a model to learn from.
The sequence matters.
The sequence is everything. Write first, AI second, compare and learn third. That sequence produces development, versus AI first, copy, done. That sequence produces output with no development behind it.
So the problem is not AI. The problem is the sequence and most learners use it.
Most learners go AI first, because AI first is faster, AI first is less painful, AI first removes the struggle, and the struggle is uncomfortable, so the brain finds a way to avoid it, and AI has made avoiding it very easy.
But the struggle is the learning.
The struggle is the learning. This is one of the most important things to understand about language acquisition. The effort of searching for a word, and finding it or not finding it, is what makes the word more retrievable next time. The effort of constructing a sentence, and getting it right or getting it slightly wrong, is what builds the grammatical intuition that makes the next sentence easier.
When AI removes the struggle, it removes the learning mechanism.
Not the output. The output is there. The product looks fine. But the process that builds ability, the effortful processing, was bypassed. And bypassed processes do not develop.
I want to talk about something specific that I think a lot of learners experience but do not name, the feeling of progress that is not progress.
Say more.
When you use AI to write your English, the output is good. It feels like you produced something good in English, and that feeling, the satisfaction of good output, mimics the feeling of having learned something, having improved, having made progress.
But the improvement was the AI's, not yours.
And the feeling of progress, which is real, becomes disconnected from actual progress, which is not happening. And over time, you feel like you are improving. You have evidence, this good English output, but your actual ability has not moved.
And then the moment arrives. The speaking test, the job interview, the real conversation, the meeting where you have to produce English without a tool, and the gap is suddenly visible. The output the AI was producing is not available, because it was never yours.
That gap between the AI-assisted output and the real unassisted ability is what I want to call the competence illusion. You look more competent than you are, even to yourself.
And the competence illusion is comfortable, right up until the moment it is not, right up until the real test arrives. And at that point, it is not comfortable at all.
So the learner who has been using AI heavily for 6 months and the learner who has been struggling through imperfect English for 6 months, on paper, their output looks similar. In reality, their abilities are completely different.
The struggling learner has built something. The AI-assisted learner has produced something. Built and produced are not the same thing.
Building lasts. Production of this kind does not.
Albert, I want to go through some specific ways AI dependence shows up, because I think people will recognize themselves in these, and recognition is the first step.
Go through them.
First, the translation habit. You think in your native language, you type it into an AI translator or AI rewriter, you get English back, you use the English. Your native language thought never became an English thought. The translation was outsourced.
And this is directly opposed to everything we have talked about in previous episodes on thinking in English. The entire development goal is to move thinking into English. The translation habit moves it further away, every time.
Because you are training your brain, through repetition, that English production is the AI's job, not yours. And the brain responds to what it is repeatedly told. Tell it the AI handles English long enough, and it stops trying. Second way AI dependence shows up. The correction dependency. You write something in English, you immediately put it into an AI checker. The AI corrects it. You accept all corrections. You move on. You learned nothing about what was wrong. You do not know whether the same error will appear tomorrow because you did not engage with the correction. You just accepted it.
Versus writing something, trying to self-correct first, then using AI to check whether you caught the errors yourself, then reading the corrections carefully and asking, why was this wrong? What is the pattern? How do I avoid this next time?
Same tool, completely different relationship with the output. One produces learning, one produces clean text.
Third way.
The speaking preparation dependency. You are preparing for a conversation or a presentation in English, so you use AI to write out what you are going to say. You practice saying the AI's words. You deliver the AI's words.
And when someone asks a question you did not prepare for, you have nothing, because the English you delivered was not generated by your brain, it was memorized from the AI's output, and memorized AI output has no flexibility, no ability to adapt, no roots.
Your own imperfect English, prepared by you, generated by your own processing, would have been more flexible, more adaptable, more genuinely yours, even if it was less polished.
Polish without roots breaks the moment the wind changes.
The moment something unexpected happens, a follow-up question, a misunderstanding, a topic shift, the AI polished script collapses because you cannot think beyond it. The thinking was done for you.
Fourth way AI dependence shows up, and this is the one I think is most invisible.
Tell me.
The comfort loop. Using AI starts because it is useful. You produce better English. You feel good. You use it again, and the loop tightens until the idea of writing in English without AI feels uncomfortable, exposed, like walking outside without a coat.
And the discomfort of writing without AI, which is actually the discomfort of learning, starts to feel like a sign that you should not write without AI, that you are not ready, that you need the tool.
But the discomfort is not a sign that you are not ready. It is a sign that you are learning.
The discomfort is the learning, the struggle to find the word, the sentence that does not come out right the first time, the feeling of not being sure whether the grammar is correct. All of that uncomfortable, uncertain feeling, that is the brain working. That is acquisition happening.
And AI removes it instantly, which feels like a solution and is actually the problem.
Because you cannot outsource the discomfort of learning. The discomfort is the mechanism. Remove it and you remove the development.
So AI dependence is comfortable, and comfort in language learning is almost always a warning sign.
Comfortable language learning is language learning that is not happening.
Before word tour, I want to say something honest because I think it needs to be said.
Say it.
Everything we have described today, the translation habit, the correction dependency, the speaking preparation dependency, the comfort loop, I have done all of them at various points, probably more than I want to admit.
Same.
And the reason I want to say that is, this is not a conversation about people who are lazy or dishonest or not trying hard enough. It is a conversation about a very powerful and very available tool that makes a very appealing offer, better output right now, in exchange for nothing visible, no obvious cost.
The cost is invisible and delayed, which makes it very easy not to notice it.
Until the real test comes.
Until the real test comes. And by then, the habit is deep, and breaking it is harder than it would have been at the beginning.
Which is why part 1 is about understanding the problem, seeing it clearly, naming it specifically, because you cannot change a habit you have not identified.
Part 2, which is next week, goes into what the right relationship with AI actually looks like. Not no AI, not all AI, the specific ways of using it that genuinely accelerate development rather than replacing it.
And part 3 goes into the recovery, what you do if you recognize yourself in today's episode and you want to rebuild the ability that AI dependence has been quietly eroding.
3 parts. This is part 1. Come back for the rest. Word tour.
First word, dependence. Dependence means relying on something so heavily that you cannot function properly without it. AI dependence in language learning means reaching for the tool before using your own ability and gradually losing confidence in that ability.
For example, she did not realize how deep her AI dependence had become until her internet went down and she sat in front of a blank email for 10 minutes, unable to start. Or, dependence is not about how often you use a tool, It is about whether you could function without it. If the answer is no, that is dependence. Repeat, dependence.
Dependence.
Next, acquisition. Language acquisition is the process of developing language ability through real use and exposure, as opposed to learning, which is the conscious study of rules. Acquisition requires effort, exposure, and authentic use. AI shortcuts bypass acquisition while producing the appearance of ability.
For example, she had strong test results but poor acquisition. She knew the rules well but could not produce natural English spontaneously because her study had not included enough real use. Or, acquisition happens in the struggle, in the effort of finding the word, constructing the sentence, communicating something real. Bypassing the struggle bypasses acquisition.
Acquisition. Next, illusion. An illusion is something that appears to be real but is not, a false impression. The competence illusion in AI-assisted learning is the feeling of having improved when the improvement belongs to the tool, not the learner.
For example, the polished AI emails created a competence illusion. She felt her English was strong because the output was strong, while her actual ability remained unchanged. Or, the illusion is comfortable until the moment it meets reality, the conversation where the AI is not available and the real ability has to show up. Repeat, illusion, illusion.
Next, bypass. To bypass means to go around something, to avoid a process that would normally be required. In language learning, AI bypasses the effortful processing that drives acquisition. For example, using AI to rewrite every email bypasses the cognitive effort that makes writing ability develop. The process looks the same, but the development does not happen. Or, you can bypass the struggle of finding the right word, but bypassing it means it will be just as hard to find next time. Repeat, bypass. Bypass. Next, erode. To erode means to gradually wear something away over time, to weaken something slowly through repeated small losses. AI dependence erodes language ability gradually, not dramatically, not all at once.
For example, her confidence in writing English without a tool had eroded over 18 months of AI use, not suddenly, but gradually, until the idea of writing unaided felt overwhelming. Or, erosion is dangerous precisely because it is slow. You do not notice it happening until the ability is significantly diminished. Repeat, erode, erode. Next, outsource. To outsource means to give a task to an external party rather than doing it yourself. When you outsource English production to AI, you are giving the cognitive work and the development that comes from it to the tool. For example, he had outsourced his English writing so completely to AI that when asked to write something by hand in a workshop, he realized he had forgotten how to start. Or, you can outsource the output. You cannot outsource the development. Development only happens when you do the work. Repeat, outsource. Outsource. Next, authentic. Authentic English use means producing language for real communicative purposes, not for practice, not corrected by a tool, but genuinely trying to express something to someone. Authentic use is what drives acquisition. For example, the most developmental English she produced all week was an unedited voice message to a friend, authentic, imperfect, and entirely hers. Or, AI polished output is not authentic use, it is curated output, and curated output does not build the same way authentic struggle does. Repeat, authentic. Authentic. And our final word, atrophy. Atrophy means the wasting away of something through lack of use, a muscle, a skill, an ability that weakens because it is not being exercised. AI dependence causes language ability to atrophy. For example, her spoken English had begun to atrophy, not because she had stopped caring, but because every written communication had been handled by AI for so long that the production muscle had weakened. Or, atrophy is reversible, but it requires returning to the effortful use that was absent. The muscle remembers, but it needs to be worked again. Repeat, atrophy. Atrophy. 8 words: dependence, acquisition, illusion, bypass, erode, outsource, authentic, atrophy. Every one of them describes something real about what AI dependence does to language development over time. Challenge before we close. This week, one thing. Before you use any AI tool for any English task, write your own version first. However imperfect, however uncomfortable, your version first. AI second, if at all. Just 1 week. And notice, what does it feel like to produce English without the tool? What is hard? What comes more easily than you expected? Because your own imperfect English is telling you something about what you know, about what you still need to build, and you cannot hear what it is telling you if the AI is speaking first. Part 2 next week. Come back. I'm Albert. I'm Mary. See you next time. Bye, everyone. Bye.